The new ROG Azoth 96HE consistently continues the trend of bringing the custom keyboard scene into the mainstream. It combines an extremely high-quality build with the magnetic Hall effect switches currently in high demand in esports, while utilizing a large jet compact 96% layout. We take a look at how the board actually performs in everyday use and gaming, and whether the massive price tag is justified. For a keyboard with a recommended retail price of almost $400, the packaging naturally raises the highest expectation, but these quickly receive a slight damper. The outer sleeve is a wafer-thin cardboard slipcase that easily tears when unpacking. The black cardboard box underneath is decent in quality but fails to convey a tangible premium feel like you might experience with the Wooting 60 HA+. The actual contents, however, are extremely generous and well thought out. Besides a keyboard in a fabric bag, you find a high-quality detachable silicone wrist rest, a 1.8 meter braided USB-C cable with an adapter, and a USB dongle extender for the ROG Speednova 8K wireless dongle. Particularly praiseworthy, ASUS include a solid metal switch and keycap puller instead of relying on cheap plastic. 3 additional ROG keycaps are also included. A small loop kit which enchants the do-it-yourself feel on the mechanical predecessor is missing. However, since the new magnetic ROG FHX V2 switches are already excellently pre-looped from the factory, this omission is absolutely acceptable. In terms of design, ASUS opts for simple elegance and forgoes aggressive gaming edges. The casing of the nearly 1.4 kg keyboard consists of 2 main components. The top cover is made of CNC milled aluminum, which extends over the edges and encloses the bottom case. However, the bottom case itself is made of plastic. According to ASUS, this optimizes the transmission and reception of the wireless connection and acoustically provides a deeper sound profile. Given the price though, one could have certainly expected a full aluminum case with a plastic cutouts for the antennas. Hidden inside is a highly complex 6-layer gasket mount design. ASUS combines silicone gaskets, 4 layers of porone foam, an IXPE switch pad and final silicone pad in the bottom case. In practice, this construction shows an impressive effect. The typing feel is incredibly defined and the sound profile is very clean and heavily dampened without any metallic pinging. The ASUS 96HE primarily delivers a deep muted sound, which acoustically sets it perfectly apart from competitors like Wooting or Corsair and places it on the absolute level of established enthusiast brands. The ROG Azoth 96HE utilizes a 96% layout. The main key cluster, the arrow keys and the number pad border each other seamlessly. This saves valuable desk space and allows for a more ergonomic mouse position. Unlike Corsair with the Vanguard 96, ASUS physically retains dedicated keys like page up and page down, as the compact 1.47-inch OLED display and the adjacent 3-way control knob have smartly moved to the right edge. For developers or frequent typists, this represents a significant added value. Separate macro keys on the left edge were omitted in favor of compactness, but this can easily be compensated for via the software. The high front edge of the aluminum case, measuring 24mm, virtually necessitates wrist support. Fortunately, the included silicone rest is very comfortable and does not permanently indent even after extended use. The only point of criticism, it's not magnetic and just rests loosely against the board, which means it can slide slightly on very smooth tables during rapid movements. Where the ROG Azoth 96HE absolutely shines is its tri-mode connectivity. In addition to the classic wide USB-C mode, it offers Bluetooth for office use and the proprietary ROG Speednova 2.4 GHz wireless technology. You can pair up to 5 devices simultaneously and switch between them almost seamlessly at the push of a button. The technological highlight is the transmission of the full 8000 Hz polling rate in wireless Speednova mode. The click latency drops to a vanishingly low 0.9 milliseconds. Although this difference is barely noticeable for most gamers in practice, it is technologically impressive. Since 8000 Hz consumes a lot of power, ASUS has integrated intelligent modes. In normal mode, the keyboard drops to 250 Hz during an activity and only spikes to 8000 Hz when a key is pressed. In the Zone mode, designed specially for esports, only the primary gaming cluster around VASD constantly fires at 8000 Hz, while the rest operates in power saving mode and the RGB lighting is disabled. The battery life completely convinced us during our practical test. After an intense week of the office work via Bluetooth and evening gaming sessions over 2.4 GHz, we didn't have to plug the keyboard into the charging cable a single time. The absolute centerpiece of the ASUS 96HE are the new proprietary ROG HFX V2 magnetic switches. Because they operate contactlessly via the Hall effect, ASUS promises a lifespan of 100 million keystrokes. The actuation point can be adjusted individually for each key with millimeter precision between 0.1 and 3.5 mm in fine 0.01 mm increments. The linear characteristic of the switches, however, feels extremely light. The actuation force starts at just 31 cN and increases to 48 cN when fully pressed. For players accustomed to a classic 45 cN to 60 cN, this requires a massive adjustment. Especially in the first days, it frequently happened that keys were accidentally triggered just by resting our fingers on them. But once you get used to the lightness and the shortened 3.5 mm travel distance, the switches enable fatigue-free and extremely fast typing. For competitive players, the rapid trigger and speed tap functions are also integrated. Rapid trigger resets a key immediately as soon as it moves upwards, allowing for extremely fast key spamming. Speed tap automatically prioritizes the most recently pressed key when opposite directional keys are pressed simultaneously. A clear warning applies here though, Valve now considers automation aids like speed tap in Counter-Strike 2 to be cheating, therefore use this feature with caution to avoid risking account bans. A major point of criticism can be found regarding hot swapping. ASUS has relocated the magnet of the HFX V2 switches to the side in a proprietary manner and attached a plastic cylinder to the bottom. The PCB features cutouts precisely tailored to this. This results in a massive vendor lock-in. Standard Hall effect switches from other manufacturers simply do not fit. If you want to swap switches, you're almost exclusively tied to the ASUS ecosystem. Added to this are community reports of occasional key chattering, the double registering of letters with a single keystroke. Here, the thick dampening mats seem to exert a minimal pressure on the PCB in some places, which disrupts the fine 0.01 mm sensor calibration. Currently, the only remedies are manually increasing the dead zone or recalibrating. A toggleable debounce filter like Wooting offers is so far missing from the ASUS software. ASUS is executing a long-awaited paradigm shift with its software, bidding farewell to the resource-hungry Armoury Crate behemoth for this model. Instead, it utilizes Gearlink, a streamlined web-based solution that requires a Chromium browser. The web interface is refreshingly uncluttered and allows for precise adjustments of analog actuation points, rapid trigger, OLED display animations and lighting effects. The OLED panel is miles ahead of the competition and can display system stats like CPU temperature or an audio visualizer. However, the onboarding and the technical execution still massively tarnish the premium claim. Since a web browser cannot directly access Windows system resources, you must download separate companion services for advanced hardware info or complex macros. And this happens in an alarmingly outdated manner. Download a zip file, extract it, run an exe, restart Windows, and do this individually for each service and every firmware update. Competitors like Corsair or Wooting handle this much more elegantly with seamless in-app wizards. Gearlink is a fantastic foundation, but ASUS urgently needs to improve the user experience during setup. In conclusion, the ASUS ROG Azoth 96HE is undoubtedly an impressive piece of hardware that fulfills almost every desire of a modern enthusiast. Once a keyboard is on your desk, the minimalist design is completely convincing. The tri-mode connectivity makes cable management obsolete, and the typing feel, along with the extremely rich muted stock, offers one of the best acoustic experiences currently available. The precision of the magnetic Hall effect switches is also phenomenal, even as the extremely light actuation force requires some getting used to it. On the flip side, there are compromises that hurt in this price range. The lack of a full aluminum bottom case, the strict vendor lock-in due to the proprietary magnet design of the switches, and an unnecessary complicated software onboarding via outdated zip downloads. If you want to put the ASUS ROG Azoth 96HE on your desk, you can generally find it readily available at the usual major electronics retailers and online shops. The street price in competitive retail currently hovers around $350, while the MSRP is a painful $400. Beside the tested black variant, a white version has also been teased, though there is currently no official release date for it. If you place extremely high value on wireless high-end performance at 8000 Hz, outstanding acoustics and a compact layout including an OLED display and have the necessary budget, you are getting an absolute top-tier device here. However, if you expect full modding freedom for the switches or flawless out-of-the-box software experience, you should weigh the purchase carefully.